Okay, now the last few days we've been blessed. For the last 3 nights we've had our $10 million circle member partners in New Skin sharing. Okay, the first night was Jasmine Hill from Malaysia, who's built a huge team in Taiwan. Next was Philip Chong, who's been working so hard. He's going to be a $20 million circle member this year. And then there was Pamela Yin, the scientist who worked with the founder of Pharmanex, Michael Cheng, in Burg. And tonight is Alan Nagao, so you want to be inviting for that. Okay, let me begin. Okay, let me begin. Good morning, everyone. Okay. Now, on the first Monday of this year, I introduced the book, The Go-Giver, by Bob Burg and John David Mann. These two authors argue that you should make giving rather than getting your first priority in business and in life, and success will follow. The Go-Giver is presented as a little story about a powerful business idea. And it's a story about Pindar, the successful businessman, and Joe. And as Pindar told Joe, a sound business principle will apply anywhere in life. And of course, sound life principles also apply to business. So we're trying to be consistent with how we behave in our business with our life and not separate the two. And that way you get to practice a lot and they become natural principles in your life. Now, Pindar teaches Joe 5 laws for stratospheric success. Not just ordinary success, but stratospheric success. Before I start sharing, and this is for those who are listening to the replay, I want to ask you, if you are here listening to this because you just want to hear a story, or is it because you want to have stratospheric success and help others also have stratospheric success? Okay, so are you here just to listen to a story, or is it because you want to have stratospheric success and help others have stratospheric success? You've heard the expression, in one ear and out the other. And this is what usually happens when we listen to stories. And even if you remember the lesson, those of you with photographic memory, you know, it does no good to you or to others unless you apply the lesson. Now, Joe was so desperate to make his work deal. He had a target to meet. Okay, he was so desperate to make his work deal. He asked to meet this super successful person that he had heard from his colleague Gus. This super successful person's name was Pindar, and Pindar agreed to meet him and was happy to share his trade secret to Joe, provided Joe met certain conditions. Okay, the first condition was that they would need to meet every day for a week. Okay, so every day for a week they would meet. That's quite easy. But the real condition was this. Pindar said you must apply each law right away. The same day you first learn it, or meetings will come to an end. Okay, you must apply each law right away. The same day you learn it, or meetings will come to an end. Now you'll recall, those of you who been listening to me since last year, when I started sharing on the self-confidence formula on Motivational Mondays last year, I shared one paragraph of the self-confidence formula at a time. And I did that and suggested that you memorize each paragraph the following week before the next session. So if you had done that, diligently memorized each paragraph, you know, when I finished the series on the self-confidence formula, you would have memorized the whole self-confidence formula. Let me ask you, how many of you did that homework? Has the self-confidence formula benefited you if you can't memorize it? Okay, so it's really important. Okay, otherwise what you just listen is really will be forgotten and just a waste of time. So I'm going to ask you to commit to apply each law right away, the same day you first learn it. That means today. or if you're listening to the replay tomorrow, okay, I'm going to ask you to commit to apply each law right away. The same day you first learn it. I will continue to share the following week, but the benefits will come to an end for you if you don't practice immediately. Okay? So that's the condition I want you to commit yourself to. Okay, let's get started. The first law of stratospheric success is the law of value. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. Okay, I've put that in the introduction to this. I've written the law there. Okay, but let me just repeat it. The law of value says that your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. Now, you've experienced this in your life in some ways. For example, the less you pay for something, the harder it is to get value. In fact, when something is free, you will just ignore it. Okay. The good news is that the more you pay, the more value you will get, because you will use it. You will make sure you use it. Okay. So we've talked about that before. Now, in this story, Pinda brings Joe to meet Ernesto, who is a chef in the Italian restaurant he owns. Ernesto actually started off as a young man with a hot dog cart. But this hot dog cart was voted the best outdoor experience in the city because he made buying a hot dog an unforgettable experience. Impressed with the young Ernesto's sharp business mind and exceptional devotion to service, several businessmen who ate at his hot dog cart pulled together an investment group to help him open his own first restaurant. Ernesto now owned half a dozen restaurants and several $100 million worth of commercial real estate. And he still worked as the chef in his restaurant. Now, what is the law of value? In the law of value, you must understand the difference between price and value. Okay? Price is a dollar amount. It's finite. Value is relative worth or desirability of a thing to the end user or beholder. Okay? So value is relative worth or desirability of something to the end user or beholder. What is about this thing, this product or service or idea or concept that brings with it so much worth or value to someone that they exchange their money or time or energy for it and be glad, ecstatic that they did, while you still make a healthy profit? For example, I have an accountant. Okay, let's say I have an accountant who charges $1,000, but does work that enables me to save $5,000. Also, I save the time if I had to do the accounting myself. I get peace of mind and security that it's done properly. This accountant gave me more in value than she took. The peace of mind could be even more value and worth than the $5,000 I save. I feel great about it, and she makes, I assume, a healthy profit because she keeps coming back to me to do this service. Now, this is the kind of relationship we want to have with everyone we do business with. We want to give them so much more value, both in the product and service itself, as well as in the overall experience, that they feel terrific, fantastic about it, and we make a healthy profit. So practice this with friends, with sidelines, with uplines, with downlines, because you don't make money from them. Okay, when you give more value, okay, then, well, in this case, you don't get any return from a sideline or upline or even a downline. They will trust you. They feel good about you. Now, money is an echo of value. Okay, so, someone said, the thunder to value's light. Value must come first. The money you receive is simply a direct and natural result of the value you provide. Focus on the value and the money will come. Ernesto said to Joe, exceed people's expectations and they'll pay you even more. The point isn't to have them pay you more. It's to give them more. You give, give, give because you love to. It's not a strategy. It's a way of life. And when you do, he added with a big grin, then very, very profitable things begin to happen. Now I find this very liberating, okay? Because the engineer in me, the finance person in me calculates, okay, investment and return. And if you can't calculate, like some of us can't calculate, you get, you're saying, am I giving too much? It's very, very, it's a big headache. But when you just focus on just giving and giving and giving, then you be assured that very, very profitable things will happen based on the first law of value. Okay, so let me repeat the first law of value. Okay, first law of value is your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment, and your focus is on just giving in value. Okay, so remember the condition I said. Okay, go apply this law of value to someone before midnight tonight. Okay, exceed the expectations. Just focus on giving and giving. Okay, so that's the first law. Okay, the second law is even more fantastic, the law of compensation, and we'll talk about that next week.